we are about to start off Week 6. It is Team Coast versus Cloud9. They are just completely demolishing Coast inside their base.
We can finally say Cloud9 are actually back in form.
Was the Baron the wrong idea here for Impulse? It's gonna be game over! Team 8 pull the trigger!
I don't even know what to say for this game.
That's gonna be slicing Maelstrom flash forward. That's the quadra kill coming in. Team Liquid this game to get revenge on Gravity. We don't shake hands. Brothers got a hug.
The hook! Oh my god, it caught Altec. That is their third kill this fight. A 28-minute crushing of Winter Fox.
Welcome, Summoners, to the North American League Championship Series. We're coming to you live from our studio home here in Los Angeles, California. The fans are pumped up to see their favorite teams in action. Lots of energy in the building today. Here, Impaler and Sheep with some pep in their step. And Cop and Bunny Fufu, well, they're squeezing in a little time on the Rift before their first match, Gravity versus Coast. Hello, I'm James Dash Patterson. Great to have you back with us for more of our spring split coverage. Here with me, though, I've got the resident league experts, Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler, Aiden Zyrene Moon, and David Freak Turley Esquire.
I like how when you say the experts, we don't include Jat. I think that's very accurate of you.
Wow. Shots fired. Early in the day, shots fired. Jat's not even here to defend himself. That was
He's not even sick, but we need to bring back hashtag Save Jat.
Yeah, Save Jat, please, immediately, right now. Wow, all right. Well, hey, taking a look at the state of the NALCS, and right now our top three teams, we've got TSM, CLG, and Cloud9, and they look to be playing in a league all of their own, to be honest.
Yeah, they definitely look a step above everybody else, and thank God we're having some international competition very shortly, because these teams look good, but it's how good are they really? Because in comparison, they look great, but right now, we have a lot of questions, and we're looking for some answers, like how good is TSM and how good are Cloud9? We're going to find out shortly, and both these teams, thankfully, are hitting their stride at this point as well.
Yeah, and it's really fun looking at these top three in general because they all actually win in different ways. They have different key strengths. So CLG, that we're not going to see in IEM, they have the best early game, and it's not just because of the laning phase, but it's because they make these crazy plays. The after move flash hook, because he recalled at level 2 and showed up mid. The rotational play, the lane swap play. CLG are the best team in the first 25 minutes. TSM have probably the best playmakers. They've got Bjergsen, and that pretty much sums it up all on his own. He's going to win his lane solo. He's going to roam to other lanes. He's the only player who makes that much pressure by himself. Then you've got Cloud9, who have probably the best late game in the LCS right now, at least the NA LCS, where their lanes are sometimes a bit sloppy, sometimes they get behind, but their split push pressure is really good. They have a really strong, dedicated mid to late game sort of goal, and it seems to always work for them.
Yeah, the top three in North America right now are very clear. We do have that fourth place X-Curse Team Liquid, though. They really want to break into that top three, but I actually think that they're a bit further down than the standings even indicate, because you have to look at the actual gameplay within the games. And Team Liquid have been making so many late in the middle of the season rosters changes, and they've been swapping personnel around. It's been hard for them to actually remain consistent.
Yeah, but they will have the opportunity to prove themselves and that they deserve to be in that top echelon of teams as they face off against CLG today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to cast this game for CLG and Team Liquid because I really feel like CLG have the advantage in the early game no matter how the lanes play out. In regular standard 2 versus 2 lanes, Keith down there will probably have trouble against Doublelift and Afromu. And then they also have a really big advantage if they pull lane swaps. So this is going to be a really big test for Team Liquid. If they can take down CLG, then we start giving them the credit to break into those top three.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see how they tackle the issue. Yesterday, you guys were flooding Twitter with hashtag LCS Big Plays, and our first comes from Cloud9 versus Coast. At Solus Furry writes, the sneaky save on Lemon. Oh my God. Here's your number 3.
They are just completely demolishing Coast inside their base. Chris now in the eyes of the team. He gnars out as Mash approaches. Hey! Is it going to be enough? Lemon Nation gets the Summoner heal from Sneaky to save his life. And Cloud9 keeps everybody as they almost ace Coast inside the base. They're looking for the Nexus turrets.
Yep, just more further proof that AD carries are the best players in League of Legends, and everyone should always bow down to their LCS big plays.
Wow, Freak, he's on a power trip today. He's going hard, man. We got a long day ahead of us.
Of course, I'm on a power trip. I got a lightning bolt on my arm right now.
Flashes up.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, then from Team Liquid versus Gravity, our next submission says, "Holy crap, that Quastra." Let's take a look.
Quas can, he teleports in. That's going to be slicing. Maelstrom flash forward. Cop gets caught. That's going to be Keen as well. The barrier's on, but it's only going to last so long. The big one just missing on the end of Keen. It's going to be a few more shurikens to take him down. A triple kill, possibly a quadra coming in for Quas. He's going to be on Bunny Fufu. They're going to give it to him. That's the quadra kill coming in.
And speaking of Team Liquid, with all eyes towards their game versus CLG, Quas is going to be one of those guys that really, really pulls the team through the entire game. He's been carrying really hard from top.
Yeah, that Kennen was exciting to watch, finally getting to see it in the NA LCS. And finally, at Nixon331 tweeted in, "Afromu the God with the hook from nowhere." From CLG versus Winter Fox, here's your numero uno.
50 goes back to the mid lane. Pobelter not level 6. The flash in by Link, a whole bunch of damage. Wow!
He sees a Jarvan coming. He's like, okay, maybe. Getting knocked up is unfortunate. And as it's hitting, Afromu barely gets that hook by the minions as well.
That's a level 2 Afro just showing up in mid lane with some god hooks.
Yeah. And I thought it was a flash from Link because I assumed, oh, it's a 2-on-2. He's going in. No, Afro's off the screen flashing in. That was all incredible.
Pobelter just wanted to save his flash because it was only a gank from Jarvan, and then he has no window to make an escape at all, and he dies for that.
Yeah, rather unfortunate that caused the game to go into just a wild spin out of control. Well, here's how things stand in the NA LCS. In first, we do have TSM, followed by CLG in second, and Cloud9 in third. Team Liquid is in fourth, followed by a four-way tie for fifth place. Then we've got Team Dignitas sliding into ninth place, and once again, Coast is in 10th. Up first in our 5 matches today is Gravity versus Team Coast. Then Cloud9 will look to settle the score when they take on Winter Fox. After that, it's Team Impulse versus Team Solo Mid. Now switching gears for just a minute, in League of Legends, you never forget the champion that was your first main. So we caught up with some of the pros to see who holds a special place in their hearts.
The first champion that I made was Ryze because Ryze was just like a face roll smash keyboard champ.
My first main was Zinzal. I ran Exhaust Ignite and I went mid. I'll be completely fed or completely useless.
Shaco was my first main. It was the first champion that I felt like I could beat anyone with. And there was a period where, like, just by being so good at the champion, I legitimately thought to myself, even if it wasn't true at the time, that I was like the best jungler in the world.
Well, I think my first main was Brand. I liked him a lot. I actually read Reginald's guide on it, and I practiced that a lot, and I learned a lot about the game that way.
This is actually kind of funny, because actually I made Andy level 1.
Oh my god.
I think I had a couple of mains, but I would say my first one was probably Irelia top lane. I thought she was a really fun champion to play, especially because you got the resets every time you lasted a minion with Q, so I thought it was fun just jumping around and the enemy was always confused.
Who was my first main? Sion, easy. I can't speak for everyone, but personally I like to win League of Legends, so just playing AP Sion pretty much, I got to like the equivalent of Challenger today.
My first main was Katarina when I first played, because she could make all these plays and like pentakill everyone in a team fight.
When I actually like really started playing the game, I played Kennen. I would like farm with max range Qs and like Ghost Flash into the team and just like kill everybody with Kennen, like cause his ultimate was so ridiculous back then. The Karate Kennen skin, by the way, that's the good one.
Oh, I played Ezreal first just because I was an AD carry player. He's got like a really cool kit, you bounce around a lot, lots of skill shots, and I guess it kind of looks like me in a way, so yeah, Ezreal.
I feel like getting into the game, you need that one champ that you always want to play to like bring you into it.
In the first season, I had about 450 games, and my win rate was 83%. So, yeah, that was my first champion, my first love.
Yeah, the reason you had an 83% win rate is because Shaco was broken. Pre-season, you could be invisible literally the entire game if you wanted to, because the Q cooldown would go on cooldown when you use the spell, and you could just wait around invisible, stab somebody, and immediately use Q again. It really made for some really interesting mind games, though, because also in preseason, you could have mirror matches, and Shaco versus Shaco was probably the funnest thing about preseason.
Well, what about you two guys? What were the first champions that you guys started with?
So when I first started getting into the game, there were some tournaments that had already been played in like the beta. And so I looked at the post-game screenshots at like what AD carries the winning team was using, and I was like, oh, Tristana and Corki getting played a lot. I'm going to play a lot of Tristana and Corki. And yeah, I was a sheep.
So you're a follower.
Yeah. I've recanted those ways, though, and I proudly played Callista after everyone else.
Avant-garde freak.
Oh,
Yes.
man. I picked up Evelyn because I came from World of Warcraft and I was a big rogue player and paladin player. And then I was like, this has no diminishing return on the stun. I can be invisible for a minute. Was support Evelyn. And I'd roam middle and just stun people. And then I'd get enough gold to buy Sunfire capes. And I'd follow the jungler around and stand on top of him the entire time.
Dear God, what a scumbag. All right, well, we want to hear about your early days with League. So in today's question of the day, we're asking, who was your first main and why do you love the champion? Send your answers to @LOLesports and use the hashtag LCS. We'll be highlighting a few of our favorites later in the show. But now, we're going to send it over to the guys at the caster desk to take us into game one.